Right, I'm doing research on the end of the 17th through the 18th century into the 19th century on the representation of caves and how we see them philosophically, scientifically and imaginatively. And I think the key point with the cave is not just a cave, but cave exploration and the moving into what we would see as the unknown. The cave itself is an interesting area to look at. It's a space within solid rock, so it's an interesting place, but a very interesting and I would say irregular space that you have to pass through. I've been looking at the philosophy of sort of phenomenology and so on and so forth, but essentially I was looking at the idea of the development of cave science and literature and the use of the imagination. But the more and more I worked on this, the more I looked at the material, was how we experience it physically. So one of the things that I've now sort of shifted my research towards is the felt experience, the embodied experience of the cave. But it's a remarkable space. It's a space that's opened by water, it's a space that's filled by water, and then it's a space that's emptied and then filled again. So it's a space that's constantly being opened and closed over epic periods of time. We also open it as explorers and diggers. So what I was interested in was how do we see it? And it is an irregular space, one that you can walk through. It's one that you can scramble through and so on and so on. So your body is expected to do an enormous amount when you're in a cave. I've also discovered with the cave, of course, that your sensory deprivation is a key point. You're always in the dark. These shots were taken with flash guns, but you've got to bear in mind that the only light you've got is going out in front. Your peripheral vision has gone. Vision behind, wherever, is in complete darkness. You're often in water, the temperatures, the cold, your body experiences an intensification as well as a deprivation. The shapes, the forms, the passages can be, as we can see here, very straightforward. They can be easily walked upon. They can be large, filled with mud. But they can also be, strange forms, strange rock formations that you have to squeeze through, walk through, stoop through, and so on. And you can see that caves start to fill. Caves where there's water in them, often the idea of swimming as well. You've got to swim. Cave in Malaysia recently, we swam a mile to get out with sheer walls on the sides. And you're in the water fills, these caves fill to the roof, and then they drop down. So you're always in that gap between the two. But one of the things that also then comes is the idea of the tight space, where physical movement, the body can't help you. You're trapped at the side. So one of the things I was fascinated by was like, what does the body do in these kind of spaces? And sometimes your arms can help you, but a lot of the times it's just muscle movement. And you just move by shifting your muscles in a way that is quite surprising. So many of these passages, it's about immobility when you get in and finding a way of becoming mobile. And these are incredibly felt experiences. The rock, the gravel, the water follows you through. We also open caves, and as you can see the scaffolding here is we dig through and find descents and open these passages. So again, the movement that we're using is a range of different kinds of things. Also bearing in mind that many of the passages you're not walking at all, you're hanging, you're in space. So here the whole idea of disorientation, balance, a movement without a ground, without any substance beneath you, is one of the key things that we're interested in. So it's this kind of mobility that I've started to look at, this sort of phenomenological approach to what does the body experience in the cave and how we experience it. Thank you.